I'm Eric Cohen, the fly fishing beautician. I live, work, and fish out of Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City. I was born in New York City, but spent most of my younger years in New Jersey. My father was a garment worker who loved to fish in his spare time. My mother was a hairdresser. I guess that makes me a crazy combination of both. I've been a hairstylist for 27 years and fishing practically all of my life. I have 4 great kids and the most understanding wife on the face of the planet. She supports me through everything, all of our adventures and misadventures. She also understands that the water is like air for me, and she allows me to breathe deeply. Why would I like to be on Top Hooker? Well, I feel like it would be the next chapter for me. I feel like winning Top Hooker would put me in a position to fulfill my lifelong dream, to somehow earn a living fishing. As for my experience in fishing over the years, well, I guess the sickness all started when I was a kid, growing up in urban New Jersey. My parents understood the need to be outside in the great outdoors, so they sent my sister and I to a day camp. Well, at this day camp they had some really nice streams. Well, I would get in trouble regularly for sneaking away from whatever the various activities of the day were to play in the creek, chasing minnows, crayfish, and, well, pretty much whatever swam. The camp would call my mother and say, "We can't get him to participate." My mother would say, "With what I paid you for this camp, let him fish." And so, fishing it was. I am in it to win this. I feel like I can handle any situation that you throw at me. I feel like one of my greatest strengths is my resourcefulness. Go ahead, ask me why my friends call me MacGyver, the Jewish MacGyver. One time on a fishing trip, we popped a hole in our canoe. We had nothing with us but a lighter and a plastic cup from a restaurant. I lit that cup on fire and let the molten plastic fill in the hole, and yep, we were fishing again. When I was around 7, my dad took me on my first inshore fishing trip. We fished on Sheepshead Bay in New York City. And we caught flounder, fluke, porgies. I also managed to kill all the bait on the boat. But that started my obsession for saltwater fishing. We moved to Alabama in 1980. I was 14 years old. With the salt water quite a distance away, I had to find yet another release. So I started to bank fish and wade fish some of the streams and small rivers close to home. And that quenched my thirst for a little while. I then developed a bad case of wanderlust. I started to venture further and further away from home in search of streams and rivers that contained real fish. I soon discovered that trout and smallmouth bass were a blast on ultralight spinning gear. I pursued them with diligence. And that quenched my thirst for a little while. When I was 16, my dad took me on my first offshore trip. It was in Destin, Florida, on the Al Lynn. We had the most amazing day of trolling. We caught king mackerel in the 40-pound plus range, one after the other, bonita. We caught Dorado dolphin, and it was all over from there. I lusted for the salt. From then, it was an annual trip, at least once annually. Most of the time, fishing with Captain Harold Staples on the Al Lynn. He was one of my earliest mentors in the saltwater fishing game. I was always so impressed with the fact that he could always find the fish. I got my first fly rod when I was around 30. It was at that point that my focus went straight back to the mountains. I spent many, many weekends learning to read the water, learning to cast, and for that segment, trout stole my heart. And then the need for something new started itching at me. It was at that time that I joined the Tennessee Valley Fly Fishers. They're a local chapter of the Federation of Fly Fishers. Being one of the younger members of the club, they kind of took me under their wing and taught me so much about fly tying and reading water and, well, saltwater fly fishing. Really? Oh my God. Between the more experienced tyers in the club and videos that I've watched on YouTube, I got the basics of fly tying. And then I created my own style, perfecting all of my various concoctions for catching fish. I think that the reason that I took to fly tying so well was the manual dexterity that I received over the years of doing hair. Working with some of the materials that you work with while tying flies is very similar to some of the ways that we work with hair. As for my ability to handle fishing challenges that I have not yet accomplished, I think that my resourcefulness and my willingness to go to any level to catch fish will get me through any challenge that you throw at me. I'm not only competitive on the fishing grounds, but I've also been very competitive as a hairdresser. The pressure that I have been under during styling competitions and the amount of time given for certain tasks and such, I think will allow me the ability to overcome just about any challenge. As for the types of fishing that I'm best at, well, fly fishing is absolutely my passion. The moving water, that's definitely my home playing field. But I guarantee you, I will not fail on any battleground.
All right, I got the stank on my lips. Let's go.